Dodge has printed those.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, board. Dr. Brown. Happy Friday, everybody. I know this is a great way to start your Friday morning, but welcome to Jackson County Schools. I want to start by just giving a little overview of our tentative budget and the recommended millage rate, just to educate everyone here a little bit on what we're doing and why we're doing it. So to start with, some of our budget highlights are we implemented the governor's $2,000 per teacher pay increase along with a 2% additional increase. Our teachers have not seen a significant pay increase in several years. We also realigned our salary schedules for all of our other staff to be more in line with surrounding school districts and to be a little bit more competitive with the general market in areas where we were seeing a really hard time trying to hire staff. We've also set aside $7 million for land acquisition and the completion of Heroes Elementary, which is amazing because that means we will have finished Legacy Knoll and Heroes Elementary with no bond debt. Some other things is we have a grant from the state for 16 new air-conditioned school buses, a grant for $500,000 for safety and security upgrades. We transitioned to central registration so that it would be easier on parents and things would be more consistent across the school system as far as our children and how they are set up in the system. Again, we opened Legacy Knoll Middle School and we were able to get rid of all the mobile units at West Middle, which is a huge savings. And our amended fiscal year 24 budget is balanced. And we can go ahead and go through that one. That's just a summary of our budget. Some of the impacts on our budget that we had to consider that also impacted where we needed to set the millage rate were our employee contributions for state health care went up over $4 million. Salary increases and realignments, 2.6. Facilities and land acquisition, 4.5. Growth positions, of course, because our system, as all of you know, is growing exponentially. And so we have to, of course, hire those teachers and the support staff to take care of those additional students that enroll in our system. The operations at Legacy Knoll Middle School, we had to take on GNET's program, safety and security grant that I mentioned earlier for $500,000. Of course, that's the expenditure side of it, and the state is giving us $500,000 to cover that. Technology replacements and increases for additional students, and additional money for safety and security initiatives, our central registration, and our RESA membership for our membership in the RESA and the shared services. And the next is just some information regarding property assessments. As you know, the property is set annually by the tax assessor's office. Taxing districts such as the school system, the county government, city government does not have any part in determining those property values. Counties are required by state law to establish a value as of January 1st of each year that meets the definition of fair market value. There's not a state mandated reevaluation schedule. Rather, the counties are annually audited by the Department of Audits and determine if their fair market value is in line with where it should be, which is 40%. And they compare this to the actual sales of the county, and if you are under that percentage, then that is when the state requires you to reassess property values. And in the most recent study for Jackson County that was issued in August of this year, our value was at 31.96, which means that we were extremely undervalued as far as our fair market values for our property. And the tax assessor will now be required to reassess all property. And they have 3 years to implement that, to rectify that undervalue. And then just a few things to mention about our millage rate. The recommended millage rate for this year is actually lower than what we implemented or what we approved last year by 1.081 mils. So we're actually lowering the millage rate. We're also lowering the bond millage rate from 2.7 to 2.6. These two rates are actually the lowest that they've been, like together, the lowest total combined millage rate in over 20 years. The tax assessors or the tax commissioner's office actually assesses us a 2% collection fee to collect our taxes. So that amount of money that we collect actually goes to the tax commissioner's office. And for this year, based on our recommended millage rate and the tax digest value, that's over $1.2 million that shifted from us to the tax commissioner's office. Also, the first 5 mills that we assess, that we levy, goes back to the state. It's our portion, our contribution to the state funding grant. And so basically what it is the state that funds us 80% and we fund the other 20% of the state education funding. And the next slide is just kind of a timeline of how things work, when the assessments happen, when we set our tentative budget, and we set a tentative budget so that we can start operating July 1 because we don't normally receive the tax digest until mid-July. So we have to start operating the school year on tentative information, and then once we get the tax digest and determine what the millage rate will be, then we, like we're doing today, we will present an amended final budget. And then the next is something that I'm sure you've seen. It's our 5-year history. So you can see for the last 5 years that our millage rate has gone down significantly. And the last couple of slides are really just, again, they're informational, just so that everyone knows that how things work and what the state government requires us to do as far as advertising and tax increases and tax digest and how we have to advertise those, how we have to have hearings, and kind of what the timing and process is for that. Any questions?
Okay. We got some people that signed up to come speak, so now is the opportunity that those that do want to come up and speak are welcome to come up. Podium up here, if you'll introduce yourself, name, address, and then you're welcome to speak to us. Anyone?
Good morning. My name is Sam Thomas. I'm from 2133 Broxton Loop in Jefferson. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and thank you all for serving your community on the school board. I know that that's a big sacrifice, and that type of sacrifice is getting harder and harder as it gets more expensive to live in this county. The Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Marshall, once said, "Power to tax is the power to destroy." Most of us know that quote. We don't know the next line that comes after that, and it's that power to destroy limits our power to create and contribute to our community. Those of you that have had to flee Gwinnett understand that concept because you've seen it happen in real life in front of you. And those of us that have lived here our whole lives are starting to learn it the hard way in Jackson County. My dad, when I was 8 years old, left a good paying job to go back to school so that he could be a teacher and serve in the school system. And I've watched him work hard to maintain our family farm, a farm that we couldn't afford to buy under the current valuations. And I know that he was able to do that when I was a kid because he lived in the greatest county, in the greatest state, in the greatest country in the world. A county where he could afford to live on a farm, raise kids, and serve his community. And even though I live in the same house I did when I was 8 years old, I don't live in the same county that he did, because it's getting more and more expensive to live here. And I get that we've got all sorts of problems that are being caused by reckless growth in Pendergrass, and I get that that's handcuffing you. But a 28% increase in taxes is astronomical. And you can say that, well, the millage rate's going down, and it's the lowest that it's been in 20 years. But at the end of the day, when the citizens of this county get their mortgage, bill and they see that it goes up, or they get their tax bill at the end of the year, what they're gonna see is there's a 28% increase in taxes. In fact, the matter is, our taxes are going up. And I think that we need to think long and hard about that, and about the impact on the community, and about the fact that if taxes keep going up, you can pay teachers all you want to, they're not gonna live here, because they're not gonna be able to afford to live here. And that's the problem they've got down the road with that. So let's not repeat the same mistakes that our neighboring county has repeated. Let's think long and hard about, can we cut the budget? Can we come up with that money somewhere else, like working with the state on countywide impact fees? And let's think long and hard about, do we want to handcuff the next generation of this county? And do we want to make it impossible for the people that live in this county to contribute to their community because they're too busy working to pay their tax bill? So thank you all so much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You're hard act to follow.
Only 264 Hunter's Jefferson. Mine is, I totally agree with what you just said, so I want you to reiterate that, but I have more of a question about the senior discount. Just comparing it to Gwinnett County of all places. I mean, they have 100% of the school coming out. I mean, my problem is that when it all comes down to it, when you're living on Social Security, you can't afford to live here. I mean, we're going to have to move. And, you know, it's just me and my husband. We've never had a child in Jackson County schools. We moved here after our son was grown, so we have not contributed to that part of it and not used any of the school taxes. But now we're feeling like we're going to have to move to another county or even another state to be able to afford to survive on Social Security. And I just was wondering, I guess it's more of a question, is that on the board at all to ever reduce that? Is that something that's coming up, or is it not? Because we need to make plans for our future. And I'm also afraid of, if we sell our house, we have a 4-bedroom house. So what if somebody buys it with 4 kids? So, that's really hurting the county more, because you're going to have to pay for 4 kids in school versus no kids in school with us, for us to stay. So I don't know if that is anything that anybody has talked about lately or considered, but I would like for it to be considered to start reducing the amount that's needed to pay for that school tax that we don't even use.
Somebody needs to address that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
So we've been working on, and we just passed it, we voted on a resolution at the last board meeting to increase the homestead exemptions for seniors. It's been a long process. For decades, for 20 years, the state legislature, our representatives at the state, they're the ones who have to put that on the ballot. And for 20 years, voters want something for senior taxes, like you said. And for 20 years, the state doesn't do anything. And their response is, we won't cannibalize the school's budget. So the school has to propose that. So we've all got together, and we have basically, this resolution is a proposal, but now the state representatives have to put that into effect. There's 3 tiers, 62, 65, and 70. Currently in Jackson County, there is a homestead exemption, but it has an income cap on it of $18,000. So as you know, on Social Security, and that's not Social Security income or investment income, that's basically nothing. With wages increasing, if you work at all, you basically get no tax relief. So in our proposal, in that resolution, we've eliminated that, so there is no income cap. And then we've also raised those rates from 62 years old. We've raised them, correct me if I'm wrong.
I can read those.
Okay, go ahead.
So at 62, from 10,000 to 25,000. At 65, from 50,000 to 75,000. And at 70 years old, 50,000 to 125,000. And those amounts are based on the 40% tax assessed value.
Another question. I turned 65 in February. So I know it goes against your last year's income. So that won't count because I'm working this year. But then it won't count for next year either because I worked partial year, is that correct? So for us, it won't even kick in until I'm like 67.
It has to be voted on first by the.
Well, I know, but you know,
Yeah,
even the way it
sure.
is, is that, am I understanding that correctly?
There's no income.
There's no, we've eliminated that income.
I mean, the previous year's income, I mean, that's not a thing now?
No,
So when I turn next year, I can file next year?
as long as the state passes. So we proposed it to the state. We sent
Resolution in.
everything to the state. So it's up to the state legislation to pass it.
And then we would it would become a referendum on the ballot for the citizens of Jackson County to vote on.
So that's not like, I mean,
That's not an immediate change.
yes. So when would that be coming? In November?
If the representatives put it on the ballot, so what we've done is we've basically said with this resolution, this is what we want you to do. This is what we feel is right for the senior citizens in our county, and this is what we want. Right now, it's in their vote. We've handed them and said, we want you to do this. The representatives, Emery Donahue, Frank Gann, the ones that represent this county, it's in their lap to actually do something with it. They could, in all seriousness, choose not to do that. Now, you guys probably should hound them and not let them do that. If they put that on the ballot, it would go on the ballot in 2024, then it would get voted on, and if it was approved, then that would go into effect in 2025. So this is something, again, that for 20 years people have talked about, and nobody have made even the first step or made any attempt to do it. And so I want to commend the board for making that decision, because we're trying to do what's right for seniors.
Okay, thank you. You answered my question.
Thanks for asking.
I just have a question. That 125,000 so that means if your income is less than 125,000,
That's the value. So if, let's use a round number, let's say the value of the house is $500,000.
Okay.
It's assessed at 40% of that. So $200,000 is what you pay the taxes on. The school M&O. That $125,000 comes off of that $200,000. So you only pay school M&O taxes on $75,000 on a $500,000 house.
You know, you referenced, and just follow up what she did, Gwinnett County, or the other gentleman did. As you know, they've got the L58. You guys are probably familiar with that, and you know how that works. So that means if your Georgia taxable income does not exceed the maximum authorized security plus $25,000, which in 2023, this year, is $112,048. So if your income, now this is for seniors, by the way, is below that, you pay no school tax. We moved from Gwinnett County, so I'm from, and, when you get up in your 70s and you're unfixed, and I know most of you here aren't there, so you're not concerned about that, but you're on a fixed budget. And I've paid school tax my whole life, and I understand, you got kids, but I'm to the point, I've got grandkids that are having kids. And it's like, hopefully those people are paying. Plus, you need new schools, but also you have more people moving in. That's why you need more schools. So you got a broader tax base. All these people moving in have homes, they're paying taxes. So, hopefully that's helping fund some of this. But I do realize you have to build to support the increase in people, and you want to grow. You're either growing or dying as a county, so.
Good point.
But Forsyth also, there's several counties that's done stuff with the seniors you got it passed. So who do we need to reach out to? Donahue and a couple people?
So the representatives for our area are Emery Donahue, Frank Gann is the state senator, Chris Irwin is his representative, Houston Gaines, Holt Persinger,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to send those to you.
Would you?
If you reach out to me,
I will give you my email.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We had some others that signed up to speak. I don't know if anyone else would like to speak or.
All right, I'm Tammy Kiros, 1473 White Hill School Road, and I have a couple of questions. First of all, comment, Bill Mahaffey did not have this plan when he wanted growth and success for Jackson County, so please start looking at things from his point of view when he started the ball rolling. Second of all, one thing that I'm concerned about is why, with all this growth, why are we increasing taxes exponentially? I mean, mine have went up 40%. 2 houses have come down, well, excuse me, 1 house was sold in my neighborhood. 1 house burnt. Those 2 houses, well, the house has been burnt. Now we have 8 houses. Where 1 went down, we've increased that amount by 7. 1 property was sold and 5 additional houses was put on that piece of property. You've got property taxes going up, because of all these new homes going in. What is something like this doing to our property taxes? I mean, or I'm better writing this stuff than saying it. Sorry, but so what is happening is my property values are increasing due to these new homes that are being put in. My house is not worth any more. I didn't buy a fixer-upper. I bought a burner downer mainly for the little bit of property that it's on. But my neighbors across the street, due to increasing property taxes, they have grandchildren. They've never had children in this county going to school. Their taxes are killing them. They're planning on moving. The people next to me are talking about moving. And because we have a little bit of land, someone's going to start shoving multiple homes on those properties. I get my door beat down every day, physically and phone calls. I have 3.5 acres. They're seeing dollar signs about putting homes there, and no, I'm not doing it. But I am also considering the value of living in Jackson County. And right now, it's not the best in the world. And the county, allowing the growth that it is allowing, is not looking out for the safety of the people in that area either. White Hill School Road presently is approximately 1.75 miles long. The speed limit that is set up on this road is 55 miles an hour. Yes, exactly. You have multiple curves. You have a sign showing sharp curves. But the allowance, the county has allowed the growth of these additional houses without lowering the speed limit. You know that there's going to be school buses stopping on that road now. I'm sure out of 8 houses, there are areas the school buses must turn 2 roads. And you are not looking after the safety of the citizens. It's not if someone's going to die, it's when. I do 35 and 40 down that road because I'm run off the road on a regular basis. Not only do you have the people that have no idea that some fool set this up way too high, they're thinking it's fine to go. Now you have all the people that are doing construction, and they're plowing through with these trailers, these long trailers and the semis. Next thing you know, you're off the road again. My neighbor across the street has had to replace their mailbox multiple times. When I go to my mailbox, it's like playing Frogger because there's a curve and it's dangerous. And then the people that do live locally, we have some that think of it as a drag strip because they'll get to where the 4-way is. You'll see all kind of skid marks. They're making donuts. They are using it as a drag strip. But my biggest concern is the safety of those children that are going to be getting on and off the school bus and the people that drive that road on a regular basis that are being run off the road. So if you're going to jack our taxes up because of the property values of homes coming in and whatnot, or for whatever reason, I think you need to take a serious look at the safety of the citizens. I appreciate everything y'all do, because I know your job's not easy. I've been in management, been in upper management, and I know. But thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Our mailbox got hit 3 times when we moved in here, and my wife just thought I'd made somebody mad, so sad that somebody else's mailbox got knocked down, but at least I know I was not by myself on that one.
Mine's been hit so many times. It was in concrete when I moved in, and it's been hit so many times I'm actually going to have to take the entire thing up and replace it.
Would anyone else like to speak?
I'm not on the list.
Very good.
My name is Mark Smith. I live at 100 Eugene Court over here in Jefferson off of 124. As all of us know, it's growing like crazy. But my biggest question is as far as raising our taxes are this. So, as the commissioners, leaders of the county, and you're constantly wanting to encourage the growth of the county. So that helps our infrastructure in general, provides homes and jobs for the people in our county. As we provide these homes and jobs, and we take these larger parcels of land, we cut them up and build neighborhoods, cluster neighborhoods, and our estate homes that we're so proud of, those are additional taxpayers that are going to be paying. So we took this property that was ag, very low tax rate, and we've gone and cut it all up, and we made it residential. So now it's worth more. So then the tax returns on it are going to be greater. So how do you justify raising it when you're raising it just simply by the infrastructure of people moving in? You're getting a tax increase because there's more taxable income to tax. Does that make any logical sense? These are also the people that are contributing to the kitty to add to the supplies and monies needed for the infrastructure to allow this county to grow and support the houses that are going to be built. Where's the logic? Why are you going to raise it on the people that are existing when you have this income coming in that will be added to the coffer that's going to be needed to support the people coming in? It's not rhetorical. Any answers?
As Ms. Dodge mentioned before, the millage rate is going down. The increase that you're talking about?
You're talking about on property valuation.
The millage rate that we're going to vote on is decreasing. The property value increase, the tax increase that you're talking about, that is part of that 28%. We're not going above that 28%. The tax digest itself has grown. That's part of that 28% growth. And that's part of what she presented in the beginning.
Okay, and then I want to touch on the fact that in this county, I know we're always trying to grow and add things and do better. There's a lot of road work going on. As much as we all love roundabouts, there's millions of dollars being spent on the dumb things, and they're more dangerous than the four-way that you took away. People don't know how to use them. We got tractor trailers zipping through them like bats out of heck. We got people that think that one of the roads on that roundabout is a through road, and everyone else just needs to get the heck out of the way. Yet we're spending millions of dollars adding them for no real value. So not only we're going to be spending money that we could be taking that money and using it somewhere more effectively. Because it ain't doing no good on this roundabout, because people are still getting run into on a regular basis. So going back to road safety, that's not improved, but we have more and more people living out here. We've got a plan and try to put things in place to make that better. Okay, I guess.
So we're not responsible for the roads, but I will definitely pass that along to Kevin Poe, the county manager.
Yeah, but surely you have influence. You have someone's ear always.
Exactly.
We all have
That's
that.
in the perfect world.
We all can reach out and talk to the county. And we have no more, I have no more influence than you
Yeah.
But it is something that they're always open to talk.
The county commissioners they'll speak to you about it. We can share their information with you that's available as well. And kind of along with what you said, the roads and the safety of the roads, those are all set by the commissioners, and that's all set by the county. We only handle the school system. And in regards to roundabouts, that's really a Georgia DOT thing.
Yeah.
And so again, the level of government and the level of who's actually over authority of that is really outside of us. But again, we're in the same boat. We're citizens that talk to our commissioners the same as you guys do.
So basically, when it all comes down, the taxes are going to go up despite the fact that people are moving in and adding to the tax base. Because when I say going up, I mean, you want to say that the millage rate is going down, and that's fine. But all we see at the end of the month is an increase in our wages going to the various imperial, state, county, local municipalities. So that's less that we have to live in. Our income did not go up. Our house value may have. That's great if you're selling, but not if you're living. And that's what we're having to deal with. And that's what the majority of people are going to gripe about, you know. And I mean, we can sit up here and say, well, it's lower. But the thing is, in 2 years, when your house value plummets, it doesn't go down. Because it's not going to be evaluated for 2 more years. So then we have to live with that. Anyways, have a great day.
Thank you too.
Anyone else? If there's no one else, we're going to go ahead and close the comment section. Okay. So next we have approval of our fiscal year 24 amended budget. Go ahead and vote on that, pass that. So I can have a motion to approve the amended budget.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now the fiscal year 24 M&O millage rate to be set at 15.495. Bond millage rate to be set at 2.6. Motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So that passes as well. Sanders, thank you. So that is the end of our meeting.